Johnny Depp has played some of Hollywood's most iconic characters. He's the eccentric pirate Captain Jack Sparrow.
Who was she?
Well, I may have just said that.
And the meek and mysterious Edward Scissorhands.
What happened to you?
I'm not finished.
Oh!
But it was one of his recent blockbuster roles that launched Depp into a real-life courtroom drama of his own.
Do you think you can hold me?
In 2018, after landing the part of Gellert Grindelwald, a notorious villain in a Harry Potter offshoot, the British tabloid paper The Sun published a story calling Depp a wife-beater, alleging that Depp assaulted his former spouse, actress Amber Heard. Depp sued The Sun's publisher for libel.
In the United States, you need to prove a false statement was made with a reckless disregard for the truth. But in the UK, all you have to prove is that there was a false statement that caused substantial harm. Which is why if you ever open up a tabloid in the UK, you find out that they're way more harsh than they are here in the United States.
Details of Depp and Heard's short marriage were revealed when the couple filed for divorce in 2016. Both have accused the other of being the aggressor in the relationship. Amber Heard's allegations are central to the Sun newspaper's defense, including violent exchanges in Australia and Los Angeles, and another on a private airplane. Attorneys for The Sun played an audio clip of Depp apparently inebriated and moaning from inside the airplane bathroom. During his testimony, Depp denied ever physically assaulting his ex, calling her claims, quote, pedestrian fiction, and said that it was Amber Heard's violence against him that forced him to spend the night in the airplane bathroom. In court, Depp's lawyers went on the offense, calling Amber Heard's former assistant to testify.
She claimed that Amber Heard actually stole her story as a survivor and turned it into her own for her benefit. So if I'm sitting on the jury, I think that Amber Heard is therefore a liar. Maybe everything she says about Johnny Depp's case is also a lie.
What's not a lie? Depp's history of drug and alcohol abuse.
He told the court, almost the very first thing he said was, I was taking every kind of drug known to mankind by the age of 14. So he obviously doesn't care if people know that he's taken lots of drugs.
During his testimony, Depp copped to breaking his sobriety and admitted to gaps in his memory while under the influence.
The burden of proof is on Johnny Depp because he's the one suing. He has to prove his actual innocence because with libel cases in the US and in the UK, the truth will set you free. You can publish whatever you want as long as it's the truth.
Depp says the wife-beater allegation is a constant issue for him during casting and that it's damaging his career.
So it may also have something to do with Hollywood being prepared to use somebody who is a drug taker, prepared to use somebody who is drunk, but not prepared to use somebody, particularly in this Me Too climate, who has allegations of being an abuser hanging over them.
Johnny Depp built a career defined by the characters on the screen. But now, with this lawsuit, it's his character that's in the spotlight.
And I think the reason why he's doing this is because he wants to clear his name. Even if he comes out of it a winner, it's still gonna freak because all of his drug use, those embarrassing photos, they're out there now for the whole world to see. But I hope that people realize with this trial that people who are abused, these abuse victims, they go through a tremendous amount of pain and a harrowing experience whenever they go to court. So I hope at the end of the day, we give everybody going through that a little bit of compassion.
Unbelievable trial. Let's bring in Ashley Banfield, Court TV special contributor, who's with us tonight. Ashley, let's talk about how is the Me Too movement impacting this case?
Well, I think that the issue might be that Johnny Depp is bringing up in this case that he can't get work because this wife beater accusation may be affected by the Me Too movement. You heard that person in the package saying, maybe it's fine for you to get, blotto, drunk and high, but it's not okay if you're hitting, your spouse. And I think he's bringing this forward as part of the issue as to why the libel is a problem, because we all know When you say something untrue about someone and it affects your livelihood, that is the definition of libel. So if he can't get past these casting calls because of that allegation hanging out there, maybe he feels his only recourse is to go into court and fight that allegation and try to disprove it.
So there's already been several witnesses in this case who have kind of gone after Amber Heard's story, right?
Yeah, employees, not just of Johnny Depp's, but also of Amber Heard's. And several of them have said it didn't happen. We didn't see it. Or if anything, we saw Amber Heard as the aggressor. And, you know, Amber Heard has had an answer for that. She says this isn't the kind of abuse that you see when other people are around. She said on the stand, this is the kind of abuse I endured when no one was around, behind closed doors, only when it was Johnny and me. And those are my words, not hers, but effectively that was what her testimony is. But today, on her first day on the stand, Vinny, there was this extraordinarily long conversation that was audio taped. And it was about 2 hours long. And I got to be honest, it felt very voyeuristic listening to it. But it was effectively a relationship conversation between them, trying to sort of a come to Jesus moment, trying to figure out where they are at after so many bouts and episodes of ugliness all over the world, from Australia to Los Angeles to, as you saw, on a jet plane as well. And I think as you'll hear in this very short snip, a part of this evidence, you will hear that Amber is acknowledging and Depp is acknowledging that she had been an abuser the night before. All through the tape, however, they are both acknowledging being quite abusive. But here's a quick snippet.
I'm not going to be in a physical altercation with you.
Then don't.
You hit me last night, you
What about all the other times you split? Come on, you cannot act like that. It's about that. It's
well,
not.
Well, on a plane, I can't split.
No, and you hit back. So don't act like you don't participate.
I pushed you.
I'm not going to get into the details of that fight. You and I both know that you split when there is no physical violence involved. And that you do it like at the very beginning of fights these days. And if you split and you go into a different room and you don't actually leave that house, it does nothing but perpetuate the fight. And you don't actually do it respectfully. You don't do it in a way that actually means we won't fight. It always makes more fights. It always makes them longer. It never, ever makes you calmer. You never come out going, I want to talk, or I'm okay, or it's going to be okay. And I am I'm sick and tired 100% of being the only one that goes and fights for it. You know what that does? It demoralizes the half of this relationship that is me. It demeans me, demoralizes me.
Really?
Yes, really. Really, when you split on me, how do you feel when I leave you?
When I split, when I go into the other room, you're saying?
You leave you get another room, you get a flight, things like that. And you asked me not to in Australia, and ever since then,
how many?
I don't know, I have to count them up.
No, because I haven't left you in a house, maybe twice. Last night and another time.
No, you've done it before. I've come here before. I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, yeah, you've come here before. Last time and another time, and then last night.
You've done this several times, and getting me a room. I mean, getting another room in a hotel is just the same thing.
So, Vinny, you know, that conversation that you heard there is pretty indicative of the entire 2 hours of conversation, and it's almost nauseating. You feel as though you shouldn't be listening in because it's a very private conversation between two people trying to repair a very damaged relationship. On the stand today, Amber Heard said that there were several times where she feared for her life. And then she also sort of, went to bat against these allegations that she was violent by saying, I was only ever violent at times when I was defending myself, and those were the times that I had to fight back. So there's a lot of that happening on the stand. But here's a really interesting nugget. Let's not forget that this is Johnny Depp suing the newspaper and its publisher and editor. Okay. However, Amber Heard has been in the courtroom listening to Johnny Depp for 5 days on the stand, and now it's reversed. Johnny Depp is in the courtroom listening to Amber Heard on the stand. It's expected she's going to be testifying for about 4 days or so as well, but neither one of them needs to be there, right? Neither one needs to be in the gallery listening in, but they are, which to me, I mean, listen, I'm no expert, But it certainly suggests they have genuine intrigue for one another still, even though they've been divorced for some time.
Yeah, but I can't imagine they're getting back together, though. Let me ask you this, Ashley. That clip you just played, though, as I listened to that clip, he's leaving. Like when he says, I split, when he uses that term, it's like I split, like I left. Like we were in a fight, so I left. And to me, that's good evidence for Johnny Depp. I mean, a wife beater, when you get into a fight, doesn't leave. A wife beater beats up his wife. So it seems at least that small clip helps Johnny Depp.
It does, except that throughout the entire 2 hours of conversation, they both acknowledge being abusive to one another. So maybe that short little piece acknowledges that Amber was physically aggressive the night before, but he acknowledges throughout that they have a problem and that he's also asking her, you have to sort of tell me, you have to let me know when the monster comes out. This is the word that she has for the Johnny Depp. She describes inebriated, just high as a kite and flat out drunk. She says the monster comes out and that's what she fears. And he actually acknowledges that as well. And then he sort of beseeches her to, you got to warn me, you got to tell me, you got to help me understand when I get to that level that I'm there. I mean, like I said, I felt very voyeuristic having to just listen to that as a reporter. Oof. I mean, I would not have chosen to listen to that length of conversation that seemed so private between two struggling people. But this is a court case, and that is evidence, and that is entered into court, and they're listening to it. And it could be the difference between whether that newspaper chain loses the case or whether Johnny Depp can get part of his career back that he says he's losing. But, libel is different there than it is here, right? It's up to Johnny Depp to prove that didn't happen. Whereas here in the U.S., it would be up to the Sun to prove that it did.
Unbelievable. And by the way, that clip, we're going to post that on courttv.com. So folks, after the show, can check it out. Or
well, you're going to need a shower if you listen to the whole 2 hours. I'm not kidding. It's not pleasant. I just don't, it's very private. There's no aggression in it. So it's not as though I'm feeling like I'm looking at evidence of aggression. It's just this private conversation where, like I said, I don't really, well, the viewers can make up their own minds on that.
Yeah. I mean, it could change the way these stories are reported if the Sun loses. Ashley Banfield, thank you so much.
Good thing.